John Bush here, Rise Up Radio Show, which airs live every Wednesday from 7 to 10 a.m. Central Standard Time on KDRP. That's kdrplive.org. Right now, I just wanted to give a little story. I was recently found guilty of failure to obey the order of an officer. That's video in the background for those of you tuning in on the YouTube of my arrest. This happened back in December. I was downtown enjoying myself, came across a couple of police officers. One of them was Officer Jason Mistrick, badge number 4856. They were leaning against a police car. I asked them jokingly, "You guys working hard tonight?" And Mistrick responded by saying, "We could be working a lot harder if you want us to," implying I thought that he would want to arrest me or rough me up. So I said, "Well, what does that mean? Are you talking about arresting me potentially for asking you questions?" He said, "Move on down the line." I said, "No, seriously, what does that mean?" I ended up leaving the area. Mistrick and his partner followed us. We then see them posing for a picture with a young, scantily dressed young woman. And we double back and take a picture of that particular event. After this, Officer Mistrick approaches me, grabs me by the arm rather aggressively and firmly, and yells in my face. He then leaves. He tells me to leave him alone, get away from him, quit following him around, even though he was following me and aggressing upon me. So he leaves, and we decide that I should go back and get his badge number so we can report it to Chief Art Acevedo. We later see him responding to an arrest, a potential arrest, and so we decide to videotape it to make sure nobody else gets abused. We show up to videotape it. He sees me there, approaches me, tells me, "Get on the other side of that pole. You're interfering with what I'm doing. Get on the other side of that pole." I ask him, "Am I interfering?" I say, "Okay, we're going to comply. We're only complying because you have a gun on your waist." So we start complying, walking down behind the pole. He then arrests Matthew Medina and arrests me, even though we were on the opposite side of the pole as he requested. We reluctantly complied with his order. So it goes to trial, and we're trying to make the argument that not only was this an unlawful order, there's a defense to prosecution written in the city ordinance, failure to obey an order. Not only was this an unlawful order, but even though it was unlawful, it was followed by myself and Matthew Medina. So my attorney, Paul Velty, during voir dire, the jury selection process, he asked the jury, and this is why I believe ultimately the case was lost and I was found guilty, because the jury, unfortunately, I don't know how to say this, seemed to have a tendency to be bootlickers or overtly respectful of authority without cause whatsoever. Just some examples. My attorney asked if they believe police have the authority to order people to close their eyes, and many people said yes. He also asked asked the jurors if they believe police have the authority to ask people to sit down on the floor, order them to sit down on the floor, and many people said yes. He also asked if, he even went so far as to say, there's nothing illegal going on, there's no impending riots. Do police have the authority to order a couple to stop holding hands? To which one man replied, well, they could have weapons in their hands. Of course the police have the authority to do that. A lot of people were apologists seeking excuses to justify police orders during the voir dire, so it's no surprise that they found me guilty, likely because they feel I didn't comply fast enough with the order that was given to me by Officer Mistrick. It's interesting to note on the stand while Mistrick was there, my attorney attempted to introduce evidence of him having a bias as a witness because after the arrest, after one of the pretrial hearings, shortly after the arrest, he began cyber stalking my family, myself, my fiance, even going so far as to create a fake Facebook account called Max Rock, which many people are familiar with. And then after a pretrial hearing, he went so far as to throw a folded up a few pieces of paper on the bench next to my fiance holding my baby at the courthouse. It turns out to be printouts of her Facebook page with different things circled and her name, which was a different Facebook alias with her real name circled next to it. Additionally, he went so far as to start this Max Rock character and talk to people online about this, undercover, as so to speak, trying to get information about the case and about myself. This was attempted to be introduced, but the prosecution tried to shut it down, and the judge agreed. But Jason Mistrick did confirm that he was Max Rock and that he was looking into people's families and looking at all sorts of information and trying to claim to be somebody that he was not, which was rather strange and eerie. But essentially the jury found me guilty, And I do believe it has to do with the fact that it wasn't a jury of my peers. Unfortunately, many people were much older than I was, but I do have many peers that are older and older age than myself. But none of the people there apparently were of a like mind. Many people that I associate with and that I consider to be my peers are, in fact, they don't think that there should be victimless crimes or people should be fined for engaging in actions in which there is no victim. In the state of Texas, can't be a victim, of course, but it wasn't a jury of my peers, and many of the people, in fact, had family members that were law enforcement. Many people worked for the state of Texas, which was the plaintiff itself. So I was found guilty. On a lighter note, the judge, the fine was $270. That was laid down by the jury, plus about $63 court costs. Comes out to around $330. I informed the judge that I had a moral objection to paying a fine to the state of Texas, and that I would rather do community service, to which he said he would respect my conscientious objection, and he gave me 27 hours of community service. So maybe those 27 hours will be spent during jury nullification outreach or more filming of the police. That's yet to be seen. But this is John Bush, Rise Up Radio, a little commentary on my recent arrest. And my message to you is to look into jury nullification, or the Fully Informed Jury Association, so we can have an educated jury pool that recognizes the idea that there's such thing as victimless crime that should not be enforced, and that knows that as a juror, they not only have the authority to judge the facts of the law, but also judge whether the law should be a crime in the first place. So again, that's jury nullification, FIJA.org, FIJA.org for the Fully Informed Jury Association. John Bush, Rise Up Radio, riseupradio.com, and youtube.com/riseupradio. Peace.